Growing up, I was an avid comic book reader. My mom would take me and my siblings to the library pretty often, and the comics section was my introduction into many of the fictional universes that I love today, like the MCU, Archie, or the Mad series. Back then, I even snuck in a couple of manga before I officially started watching anime. Although at the time, I didn't know you were supposed to read them backwards, so my 12-year-old brain almost had an overload trying to decipher what I was reading. But my favorite series to read was most definitely the MCU. Marvel was what definitely kept me coming back to comics, even today. But my favorite Marvel character was the merc with the mouth, Deadpool. Deadpool comics weren't like anything I had ever seen before at that age. A badass character that didn't have a filter, couldn't die, and was just hilarious to watch. He was a huge part of my childhood as I idolized the character for the longest of time. So in 2013, the best year of gaming in my opinion, when the trailer dropped for a Deadpool video game, the first thing I did was run ecstatically to my mom and beg her to pre-order the game. And she looked me directly into my sparkling eyes, obviously seeing how passionate I was about this character and about this upcoming video game. And then she smiled and sat me down and told me no. And that was that. I didn't get to play it that year. That was it. However, the next year, in 2014, I found the game in a Walmart for a discounted price, and all of the excitement that I once had came rushing back as I now knew I was able to play the game. So when I bought it and brought that thing home, it was everything that I expected it to be. Somehow, Activision was able to bring the same anti-hero that I grew up reading in the comics perfectly into a video game that I played twice because of just how fun it was. With the recent announcement of Deadpool 3 coming in 2024, I think it's only right that we do a deep dive on this game, on the experience that I had playing it and the experience that you can too if you feel like playing it on old generation consoles, because, well, as of right now, that's the only legal way to do it. This game was not just banned once, but twice. We're gonna get into that a little later though. So without further ado, let's take a look back on Deadpool, the video game. Deadpool was released June 25th, 2013 on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. But then in 2014, Activision lost its Marvel license, so all Marvel games under their belt were delisted and removed from all digital stores. But then it was released November 18th, 2015, now only for the PS4 and Xbox One, because of the release of the Deadpool movie that was coming in 2016. But this was before getting removed yet again in 2017 for licensing issues. It was like they couldn't make up their minds whether they wanted to license the game or not. So now the only legal way to access the game is through the physical copies that you can find online. Why would I flex money when I can just flex the fact that I have a physical copy of Deadpool the video game? You can find the 7th console generation version of the game for pretty cheap online, but for some reason the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game are a little up there in price. Likely because of the short release window it had on consoles before it was removed again. So you're really just gonna have to get in where you fit in if you want to play this game for the first time. But let's get into the gameplay and discuss what the comedic mercenary has in store. When you launch the game, you're immediately brought into the wackiness of the life of Wade Wilson. The prologue begins with him breaking the fourth wall as he talks to you, the player, on how he wants to create the perfect game. He speaks to you often in this game, which in my opinion not only adds to the comedic timing, but it also makes you feel more included in the game, where you're actually viewed as the person with the controller playing the game. Anyways, Deadpool then forces High Moon Studios, the name of the actual studio behind the game, to cooperate by literally blowing their fucking studio up. This is why he's my favorite. You then follow a meta script as you play as Deadpool, going through multiple levels, fighting enemies, and experiencing the spontaneous crazy game events. The game itself is a third-person hack and slash with simple controls. Combos are easy to pull off, dodging isn't hard to learn, and you can upgrade and unlock multiple weapons as you play the game. Everything about this game's combat was crazy satisfying. Hack and slash games are usually hit or miss, with little ever coming in between, but Deadpool was definitely a hit right on the target. Definitely an upgrade from the previous Marvel hack and slash games they made before this one. Looking at you, Shattered Dimensions. Each area that you play in has various levels of enemies, each getting difficult over time. Despite Deadpool's healing factor that allows him to regenerate any wound, he isn't invincible in this game, so if you let your health get to 0 before you can let yourself regen, you will die and reset to the last checkpoint. But playing the game, I don't really remember dying that much, at least until more towards the middle of the game when the enemies start to double in numbers. But oh my god. The sinister boss battle. Jesus Christ, I died so many times on my first playthrough. You would have thought that over 10 hours of no-lifing the game that I would have been able to handle the last boss battle, but no bro, it was dark and it was nasty. Throughout the game, you also get to fight along other Marvel allies, such as Cable, Domino, Rogue, and even Wolverine.
Rise and shine, Stubby. Wake up! Up and at 'em! Fine then. That's for all the clown jokes. That's for never calling just to say hi.
The game's lore and characters are based directly off their comic counterparts, so compared to many Marvel remakes today, longtime Marvel fans will appreciate the adaptation. They even reference the comics in Deadpool's fourth wall breaking manner when characters are introduced into the game. The game has everything that you would want out of a Deadpool game. The violence, the chaos, the characters, the gameplay. It was an excellent game, not only for the time, but for Marvel games in general. It's unfortunate that it was removed from digital stores because, well, it just keeps it away from most of the newer audience of Deadpool fans, especially the ones that found out about the character after Deadpool 2, which dropped in 2018. But if you have an old console on your hands and have a love for the Deadpool character, I suggest you go on your favorite online store and see if you can find this game for cheap. Or who knows, maybe if your local GameStop hasn't been turned into an abandoned wasteland yet, you can find one in there. Either way, you're assured to have a great time playing from start to finish. What do you guys think about Deadpool, man? If you played this game, did you enjoy it? Did you not like it? What do you guys think? Feel free to leave a comment down below. And while you're at it, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you enjoyed. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one.